Okay, Slark picked up.
Yeah.
Even though I think they're a slightly weaker team.
I'm gonna go with Luna, because I feel like you can screw up your team fights and still win the game.
Okay. That was really well done. I'm gonna give you props with that one. It's very scary. I actually think Virtus Pro is gonna take it as well. I think they have no one's Mirana. I've been hyping it up all draft, so let's see it work out. Hopefully for them anyway. Let's see what the commentators have to say though. It is time for ODPixel and Gods for Vega versus Virtus Pro.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and indeed second series of the day we've got Vega Squadron once more, this time up against Virtus Pro, a team that we did see yesterday, and a team that, as it was mentioned on the panel, coming into this one, you probably expect them to be the stronger side from the performances that we've seen so far here at Dream League, but considering the drafts, do you like what they're doing here?
Yeah, it's a bit more straightforward from Vega. All in on the team fight, have RP, empower your Void, empower your Slark. Everyone does lots of AoE damage, ET, Earth Split into Chronos, Death Ward into Chrono. It's like everything. Just throw your ultimates, kill people. There's nothing much to it, you know? You've got to hit the ultimates, but for VP, it's going to take a bit more finesse to make their draft work. But I definitely agree with you. VP have looked like the better team so far.
I mean, what do you think about VP, of course, again, picking up the Pudge? We saw them do it yesterday. They had a bit of a tough game. Arguably, you can't really point it down to the Pudge pick in that scenario, but obviously something that, as a team, they really want to make work. Coming in with it for a second time on the second day in a row. Do you feel it's a hero that can cause a lot of issues for Vega? Can you do a lot in the laning stage that Vega can't really deal with?
Become a bit of a comfort hero for Lil. And Lil's always been a player who have like his hero pool, which are kind of a bit out there that he really likes to play.
I mean,
the Visage,
like
the famous
Doom
one,
and stuff
Doom.
yesterday.
Rubik's always been a big hero of his. So he has these like heroes that he really likes to play, and his team will often have to play around, but he plays them so well that he makes up for the fact they may be out of metagame heroes.
Let's have a look. See how this one goes down. VP versus Vega. We can certainly expect an exciting game, I think, as you said. You know, the fact that Vega very much with this wombo combo of a lineup coming through, but at the same time, VP they've got a Pudge, so it's going to be fun to watch and fun to see if they can pull it off. I guess in terms of games going on, games going late, with the whole kind of Slark Magnus thing, do you kind of favour that up against the Luna? Is there going to be a point where suddenly this has got kind of his hands full and Vega's lineup, it's something like a Void as well, it's a little bit too much for him to deal with late?
Yeah, as things drag on, if things are staying even, Vega, the line bat should come out on top. Spells like Chronosphere RP will be good, and if not better, the later the game goes, just because having that reliable lockdown, BKB piercing, ET is going to be amazing late game, of course. You don't normally see like these agi carries like Luna picked into ET because of the aura. You just immediately completely destroy her entire base armor, and then you've got right clicks from Slark, from Void, so a bit surprised by the Luna pick. But the other ones I was looking at that were good were also kind of agi heroes. Like I was thinking, oh, do you go Morphling, do you go Anti-Mage, and those weren't amazing options either.
I mean, I guess obviously one thing with the Luna that's nice here is if VP are able to win fight, get pickoffs, you know, during the mid game, they're going to be able to push a lot further than Vega's lineup. I mean, Vega's got the Empower, but other than that, not really the best lineup in terms of just front lining and punching into towers.
Yeah, it looks like VP are going to mix up the lanes. They're sending Luna top with Pudge for now, aggro trail lane from VP. Vega gonna dodge. They're sending Slark bottom, they've scouted out the lanes, and they are not having it.
I was gonna say, do you imagine with this aggressive trial lane from VP, they did want to be the trial lane of Vega?
Yep, they wanted to fight the Slark. Slark very weak in lane, doesn't really deal well with aggro lanes. And you can even see by Vega's warding, they blocked the pull camp, they have a ward in the jungle here. They were expecting bottom lane to just be a standard tri lane going for pulls, and when they see no one down here, they're like, oh crap, we're gonna change our lane.
At the moment, it's just going to be D-Mag that's having to deal with this. Lil, maybe see if he can set something up, but yeah, the bottom lane's where the focus is going to be as they move in onto Pasha. That's going to be your first blood, ladies and gentlemen. I think they would have liked to try and get on recovery, but you can't have everything. But nonetheless, yeah, first blood for Vega Squadron coming out top in terms of how they approach these side lanes. Tottenham has got to be a bit careful. Level 1 hook up on Lil. But Solo unable to get in range for the Fortune Center to try and set up, and even at that, it's going to be hard with Time Walk. He's a bit of a slippery fellow, this Void. And it's interesting to see that the VP, at least for the time being, that they're not changing their lanes up. They are keeping it like this.
Yeah, you kind of commit to your lanes at some point, and then you kind of have to stick with them. It's a big investment to swap lanes. Once you don't have the lanes you want, you have to TP around, and then your opponent, if you TP around, your opponent's going to then react to you and then TP back, and suddenly your TPs are on cooldowns, and you still have unfavorable lanes. So it's always that big risk to swap lanes, and they're just trying to make the most out of what they've got. Luna is at least free farming, well, kind of free farming top, not really. Only has 5 CS, but in theory, this is a lane where Luna should be getting uncontested farm.
We saw Lil there just come down on the bottom lane on a rotation, hit the hook, but I didn't quite have the follow to bring down the Elder Titan. Solo playing around a bit with Mag, but yeah, switching it up into this kind of dual lane situation. FNG to get himself the bounty room. Mid lane, no one versus Iceberg. 8 for 2 against the 12 for 3, no one with a slight edge. Something that's a lot of thought there, because again, it's bottom lane Pasha getting outplayed and caught out by the tri-lane. It is a scary one. That's the second time he's given his life away down here in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it shouldn't be happening, and that's where Vega do have the edge as far as the lanes go when they have the aggro tri-lane, just because their Void in the safe lane doesn't die. He's got Time Walk, whereas the Sand King, less reliable escape in the Burrow Strike. You don't get to take off all that damage you're taking, and does make life a bit more difficult for VP, who are going to basically rotate Bill without rotating the carry. They see their carries farming, they're happy with that, but they want to make sure Sand King gets some help here.
That's a little bit random. It is he paralyzing cast the range creep. I guess it secures it, but I wonder if he was trying to look for some kind of bounce onwards to Pasha. But yeah, this tri-lane now protecting the Sand King and leaving Luna on her own, which I guess it can be done because it's that 1v1 matchup up top. Luna, until the Chrono comes online, not going to be in too much of danger against the Faceless Void.
Or Slark seeing the now TP up top. So again, this is what happens when you rotate lanes, your opponents immediately do it as well. Ramses could consider TPing down bottom now, but it looks like for now he's okay to just mess with the equilibrium. If anything, he'd rather his supports come back top. Oracle's already back up there. Lil could look to perhaps pick up a TP himself, or may just look to start roaming around a bit more aggressively.
More TPs coming up to top, sending everybody up back on the side of Vega.
Yep.
FNG's there to back up recovery.
Bit of musical lane. Music's still going, and no one wants to stop changing up these lanes just yet.
Solo. He's going to be eyed up by the Slark here. Hurts to make a bit of a play. Shyama's coming through as well, Solo's got to be careful. Got to get himself out. The bounce is not going to happen. Only one connection from the cast. The stop will hit though, and that will allow Vega to find himself one. If he could get Ramses as well, it would be brilliant, but all spells on cooldown, nothing else to hold him down. But still finding good action for Slark. We've seen all 3 kills having the involvement of recovery so far. And Vega, for the time being, certainly signaling a little bit better with the early game fighting.
Well, you also have the Pudge, and we're not really seeing him do all too much here. The Void is just kind of being wherever the Pudge is, and that's not a hero that Pudge can easily gank. If you're getting close enough to the Rot, you can force a Time Walk and then try and hook him, but that's in itself is not really easy to do. A good Void place is not going to let you get up close to him.
Down bottom to try and maybe see if he can get something. And actually going to have to send one of the supports from mid backing up no one. Looking to try and slow Iceberg down. But Iceberg's, yeah, both mids having a good time at the moment, really.
Yeah, I mean, Iceberg's on par for CS.
Yeah.
Had a regen rune in there, so he's had some nice runes to go with his good start, but Magnus, yeah, not having any problems.
Top lane again, Pasha taking a heavy bit of harassment. It's going to tick down fairly low with the Maledict, but he will survive.
And
Mid lane, again fishing with the arrow, seeing if they can try and kick something off. And of course, this is always going to be a little bit worrying. If Iceberg is able to get a good timing on the Blink Dagger, that could cause issues, especially for a core like the Luna. You know, if you're going to start having these Blink RPs coming through in a +1, Luna's going to be pretty easy to chomp through in the early kind of mid game.
yeah, the team fight becomes the big worry for VP. Their laning stage hasn't been a win for them. It hasn't been a loss by any means. Sand King's actually got more farm than the Void does, so despite the couple of deaths, it's often that trade-off, whereas in offlane you don't just want to play super passively and give up no deaths if it means you're getting super underleveled and underfarmed. So if anything, you look at the Sand King and say he's in a slightly better position than Void in terms of farm. He's got a bit more in the way of experience, but the result of this is giving away a kill or two to the Slark.
Lil is going to be the one to take this invis room. We'll see if he's able to set anything up. Top lane, Pasha. He's got to be careful. He's got to get himself out. Fortunately for himself, Paz connect, stomp. And he's going to be able to juke that out as well. Now sending Iceberg up in front. Iceberg wants to go in with the skewered RP. A lot of hate on Pasha, my goodness. And they're actually not going to get the kill. Iceberg, a little bit of an awkward play there, coming in and blowing the RP and not even finding the kill onto the SK. I mean, it wasn't even an SK that's been having a good game. He's been taken down a few times already, but Vega throw everything to try and get
once you're up there, it's worth using the RP if you get the kill, but doesn't find it. It's hard to use the RP in the early game because you don't have a Blink Dagger.
Yep.
Curiously, he's pushing the Blink, not actually going for any Arcane Boots here, but I don't mind going for the RP kill there if he gets the kill, of course, but the Maledict damage just wasn't quite enough. It was wearing off when he went in, and also didn't hit the Skewer damage, just got the Skewer to get him in range for the RP.
All this action going up top. Ramses has been granted a bit more space on Luna. Down towards the bottom, Mags come in. And again, it's going to be able to drop a nuke or such to pop Mag back. As VP pull the tri lane together, and we'll look to try and take down a tier 1. Getting position on the side, maybe see if we can get a hook out.
Time Walk's already back up, so very small window there where the Time Walk was used, and he's not going to get to capitalize.
Lil's going to be spotted out by this ward.
He needs to be
careful. Has to be careful indeed with Mag wrapping around as well. There's a Chrono at the ready. He's not going to pop it.
Yeah, it's no good follow-up damage to ET, just level 3. Not looking to fight right now. I mean, Vega aren't strong until they have level 6. Like, the supports getting level 6 is a big deal because those supports are actually kind of the damage dealers in the early to mid game. When you use an RP or a Chronosphere, you want to have a Death Ward or an Earth Splitter to give you some damage to follow it up. So Vega, and the fact they're up 3-0 and have a good laning stage when their lineup is much more mid-game focused is a big win for them.
Oh, nice bounce from Recovery. And look at Dark Patch. It's going to be close to bringing Pasha down. Pasha will be able to duke it out, but Recovery, he does want to chase this with the Shadow Dance. Burst right back on cooldown in a second, and Pasha, and he get himself away. Pounce still on cooldown for 7 seconds. Recovery, he would have loved to find that, but he can't. And again, nice little bit of play from Pasha. We saw at the start him struggle, give away 2 kills down on the bottom lane, but up on top, he's been managing to duke out the side of Vega a couple of times in succession.
Yep, he's shown some moves, and definitely always was one of their very impressive carry players on his past teams, and we're seeing him kind of transition pretty nicely to the off lane a little, maybe unnecessary with the first death especially, but he's managed to secure himself some decent farm and in a good position to have an impact on this game.
Level 7, 700 or so gold at the moment. Mid lane, Iceberg. Just getting rather close there to Lil. Lil yet to hit 6, of course. Still needs a few more XP until he's going to have that lockdown with the Dismember.
It's not been a shining game from the Pudge, but also at the same time he's getting some levels, he's pressuring the lanes. The reason this Void is so far behind tanking on farm is largely because of the Pudge's pressure, so it hasn't been a complete disaster from him.
No, and in terms of the heroes that you're dealing with as well, it's hard to hit good hooks to set up. You've got a Void that time walks away, a Slark that jumps away, and a Magnus that skewers out.
I'm going to go look for a play at bottom with the Eclipse online. They're going to TP Oracle as well. They're grouping up with 4 here, which really suggests they want a kill into a tower, or perhaps to force Vega to come down here. Even with Vega, with their ultimates, not easy to necessarily straight up win a fight with RP and Chronosphere without the reliable follow-up damage. They need to make sure they get off like a good Death Ward to win a fight.
Top lane, Pasha is going to be eyed up. We've seen him be able to duke out 2 attempts on his life. Up top, we'll see if he's able to do it again. 4 heroes coming in. There's the Blink RP. They really this SK dead, and this time they will get it. The RP will pop through to a successful pick-off.
It slows down the Blink. It's obviously better kill than not getting one, but it's coming at the trade of VP taking the tier 1 bottom tower, and the push at top not really there. Slark not able to follow that up with a push, and that's something Vegas Land doesn't do well, is take objectives. They can win fights off their ultimates, but they can't easily force and siege towers. They've got 3 melee cores, and that's going to really limit their ability to take fights. Sankey can really chuck this game because of the fact there's all these melee cores.
Mid lane, no one. Point boost still 1k gold. Still keeping himself ahead of Iceberg. But obviously it's the bottom lane where we're going to need to be looking, because Mag jumps forward with the Chrono set up, and this time Shoma's got his level 6, the Death Ward down, and Ramses, he's out. Only just, but Matt and the boys find the kill. And indeed the kill that they need to be looking for now. Vega wanting to try and shut down and slow Ramsey's farm, and it allowed their own Slark to really rocket ahead. And already 11 minutes in, Slark with a 1k gold lead.
Yep. Ramsey's thinking he'd be safe there with the Observer Ward vision, and even Moonlight Shadow back him up. But Vega came prepared, had the ET with the dust, and secure a kill for themselves. So 5-0 now. It's still a even game as far as net worth between the two teams go. By no means is it like a Vega win right now. VP have kind of secured the necessary farm. No one really comes line when he hits the Ag Scepter. So you look at Moran, you're thinking, well, this has been a dream start. Other than the fact you have no kills, but you don't really care about that if you're going to be hitting a 13, 14-minute Aghanim Scepter timing. So I think all in all, VP, maybe they'll look at the scoreboard and think, oh, it's 0-5, but then they'll look at their item timings and where they are. They're going to have a blink very early on Sanking and be like, hey, we're actually doing just fine. We're going to hit this Ag Scepter around when we have a blink on Sanking, around when Luna's going to have a Dragon Lance, and you can group up and be quite strong in a team fight yourself.
And we can see that up towards the top lane, but it's still spotted out by the Observer Ward. And in fact, well, they're ready to fight this. Recovery's got a Shadow Blade. Maybe look to see if he can find an opening to kick it off. He has the backup of the team on the way. Who's going to make the jump for? It's going to be Lil. Looks towards the Pudge. Lil, no way that he get himself out of this one. That's the Pudge down, and VP's movement instantly halted as the rest of them have to back the hell out of there.
Yeah, they didn't recognize the Shadow Blade. He TP's in, instantly goes invis, and from there, VP give up another kill. Just a Pudge though, so like the kills they're giving up are not really too devastating. At least that one there, the Luna was a bit more hurtful for them, but Slark is going to be the big playmaker now. See a lot of rotations and movements from FN. He's looking for kills.
Eyes onto no one. Already using the leap with burst from Iceberg Shockwave. They'll find another. I mean, this is fantastic for Recovery. As soon as he picks up the Shadow Blade, getting 2 kills within a minute.
And that's the really important kill, slowing down the Mirana Aghanim Scepter. That's where Mirana sees a big boost in her ability to farm as well as just take team fights. So really nicely played by Slark, and it's very rough playing Mirana against the Slark because you can't leap out of that pounce. So VP going to have to really respect the fact that FN right now is going to be a ganking machine.
Yeah, they're going to need to get a bit more control around the map, prepare themselves for all these movements from FN.
They have to be grouped up, or they have to try and play around sentries.
Oh, nice work there around the back of the group. They're going to pop the Epi for this, make sure they get away with the kill. Iceberg will skew in the back. But yeah, Pasha realizing that it's worth the ult, and he is going to need it to guarantee the pick. VP find themselves the first kill of the game there.
Gets them on the board, and well, perhaps an opening for them to try and take this mid-tier 1 tower, but very risky with the ET there, throwing his stomp, and see if Vega look to come and defend this one. They've got their ultimates, they could try and fight.
15 seconds, and allow Magnus back up, and maybe he can try and seep into a position for the Blink RP. That would be the perfect scenario, but it looks like VP make up the tower before that opportunity arises. Looking towards Mac, can they get the hook? Oh, they'll get the burrow strike. Hook won't quite reach from Lil. So Mac will be A-OK, but they get the job done, they get what they came for, and they finish off the tower.
Yeah, good discipline play from VP. They try and find the pick near the tower, but they don't go chasing. They take the objective, and objectives like towers at this stage give them much needed gold as far as getting some of those big items up. The Mirana Ag still the big one they really need. And we'll see if VP look to, they're going to keep on 5-manning. They're actually not that afraid of Vega's mega team fight right now. Just knowing that there's no blink on the Void. There is the blink on the Magnus, but feeling confident that if they've got a Sentry Ward down, perhaps they can just 5-man and force it around some of their ultimates.
Is FM AK Recovery ready to lead him with the Shadow Blade? It's a bit of a risky jump if he wants to make it. Oh, the smoke going to be dispelled straight away though.
The night vision.
Yeah, that is more than worth. You don't find a kill, but you put a halt to VP's play. Vega themselves actually were 3 undercover the smoke on the sidelines. They would have loved VP to still try and come forward, but VP back up, realized that the go's not going to be successful up top with Slark putting an end to it. No, they just look to split up and be efficient across the map.
None of their plays even had dust or sentries when they went for that smoke, which to me is perhaps a sign that you shouldn't smoking to begin with. If you run into a Slark, you're in all sorts of trouble. He pops your smoke and suddenly there's nothing you can do, and he can then have the scouting information for his team to set up a team fight. So gotta have dust, sentries if you want to push, if you want to smoke, if you want to make moves around the map, whether you're doing it as 5 or as like a 1 or 2-man ganking squad, gotta have detection right now. And VP, it looks like, yeah, they did bring out sentries on the Courier, so sentries up on Oracle now.
And VP have their eyes on maybe towards the mid. Maybe also I mean, with Ramses, fair bit of damage. I guess Roshan, they haven't got the best lineup for taking Rosh. And
So-so, and
it's-
either team would have to either be
Under attack.
in a really good position on the map or have
Yes.
gotten a couple kills. Neither team, no one can take Roche really fast.
No, but both teams certainly have good ways of stopping the other side doing Rosh. You know,
Yes.
that both teams, great team fight around the pit. So it's, yeah, maybe a game where we won't see a side necessarily attempt for the big old brute until they're in a position where they've wiped the other.
Yep.
Quite busily in a team fight.
Vega smoked up a couple here, and this is where they're probably just thinking that we haven't been using their ultimates much, and perhaps Vega looking for those big 5v5 fights, but realistically they can kind of play more towards the late game. They just need to be using ultimates to find solo kills there, like go for these two 3-man smokes, get a Chronosphere Death Ward, and just kill one hero. You don't have to use it for a 5v5 fight. Kill a Sand King, kill a Pudge. Ideally kill a Mirana or a Luna, but just killing one hero with an RP or a Chronosphere is still a decent use of those
Radiant's
ultimates at this
middle
stage of the
tower
game,
is
because
under
we're
attack.
still at that stage where everyone's like a little item starved. Like the Slack has pretty good farm, not ready to really truly team fight until he's a BKB. And even the rest of the team, heroes like Void, want a bit more in the way of items before they truly are ready to team fight.
I mean, that really is going to be one thing. But the BKB up on Clark, it's very hard for VP to kill him through it, isn't it? They, other than Luna, they don't have any other way of bringing him down.
Radiant's
So
bottom
he's
tower
going
is
to
under
certainly feel the
attack.
power spike when that
Yeah,
recovery.
they tried to gank him with the Moonlight Shadow there, but
Yeah.
Sentry Ward on the hill. I believe
Radiant structures
they spotted them coming in. But
Radiant's
VP will
bottom tower
instead
is
perhaps
under
try and take
attack.
this tier 1 tower. They'll be trading at bottom.
Dyer's top tower
I say trading, they could look to group up at top, but no one in position yet. You really need to have at least a couple of heroes in position preemptively before the push starts coming if you want to defend.
Yeah, I guess it just stacks up too much kind of TP time if you have one by another TPing in.
And TPing into Pudge, very dangerous. He just hooks the first one out. You've killed the first, and then suddenly 2-3, TP number 2 and TP number 3 are either have to be cancelled or it's going to be feeds as well.
Dyer's
Indeed,
top
so they let it
tower
go.
has fallen.
Vega did effectively get the trade down bottom. And already TP's back from VP. And back pings onto the Witch Doctor. But not going to be able to catch out Shem of the Slayers. He already is on the
Dyer's top
retreat.
tower is under
Yep.
attack.
It still maintains very even game. Perhaps slightly favoring Vega if they can try and make some moves now with their ultimates, as well as the Slack BKB. Look to team fight around that, but Slack with a BKB means he doesn't have to be afraid of what is effectively, right now, almost entirely magic damage. Luna right clicks aren't going to be something that threaten you until much later on in the game. It's the action around the Sand King with his disables that bring you down as a Slack.
And Magnus with a mech this game. I was wondering what he was going to go for a post-blink, but opting for the mech and I guess for the Arcanes eventually looking for the Greaves.
Okay. Like, I mean, a lot of AoE damage from both sides, a lot of team fight. And I guess he looks at his role this game being more the utility mid. He's not going to have to transition to like big DPS. I'm just going to go for a 4-star, but he's going to look to empower his teammates.
Yeah, he's an empower machine.
Make the Void do more damage. Void's not even going Blink. Void is actually going to try and go more kind of carry-oriented items this game, it looks like, with the Blade of Alacrity, so either Manta or a Diffusal. And Mag is going to play that role where he can go for the Greaves, the mech, probably see 4-stars, probably just see useful utility items come out, even consider a pipe if his team really decide they want one. And this is going to help just deal with heroes like Sand King and Moran in these team fights with their AoE damage.
Radiant's top
Things on
tower
towards
is
mid.
under
Ramsey
attack.
coming forward. Rest of the team moving in behind him. But again, yeah, getting to this point where both teams very cautious about how they approach the other. I mean, as we talked about, both have very, very strong team fight.
No, a Moonlight Shadow move, but it's scouted by sentries. This could backfire if Vega set up, and they'll try and do just that.
Yeah, recovery to lead the way. They've got a sentry down. Dark Pact and the BKB already used his recovery. Moves it on to Solo. He's going to go for the TP out. They get as much damage as they can down, and well, with Skewer, he's not even going to be able to get himself back to the fountain. So Solo will fall. Only the one though. But Vega, do they feel that's enough to try for Roche? They're eyeing it up,
I
but
think
no,
they
don't
kill
wanna
Roche
do it.
fast enough, and
Yeah.
the big thing is that they use a 10 BKB, so it's not a trade they're going to be happy with. It's not even a favorable trade for them. It's like again, it's not a favorable trade for VP, but it definitely doesn't help Vega. They get no objectives off of it. They don't get Roshan. The BKB goes down to 9 seconds. I'd almost say VP are going to be quite happy with everything that just went down. They immediately transitioned to a smoke.
Now they're jumping immediately, looking for the quick kill on Shoma the Slayer. It's going to be one of the easier ones, and they'll get it straight up. And that's going to be the Doctor out. 30 seconds. See if they can chase down from more. No one leaps forward. Arrow and the nukes down onto FNG. Pasha and Lil with the wraparound. They'll take a second. VP getting themselves on the map. Recovery. Team can find something to do in return as he jumps in onto Lil. Dark packs off the dismember. Lil's going to be coming out. Mag over, has Chrono available if needed. For the time being, doesn't look like it is. He will pop it just to make sure they get the kill on the SK. And I mean, just the tip as well as particularly Ramses. But Ramses, with the Eclipse, ready to strike back hard, finding the kill on Magnus. Won't be able to chase down anymore, so a bit of a scrappy one.
Messy fights, but Slark kind of coming out on top as far as individuals who win there. Slark getting kills. He still hasn't died all game. He's still very farmed. And Luna as well. Good fight for her. She's top of the net worth and getting that kill there as well for her team. So not a big deal that you lose Magnus. Again, it feels like a pretty even trade, much like the initial BKB for the Oracle, the fight that ensues where a couple ultimates are used, the Eclipse gets thrown out, the Chronosphere. No obvious winner, no one's team wiping anyone, no one's really executing their combos quite how they'd like to, and that's probably more worrisome for Vega because they really want to get their ultis working in tandem. The Chronospheres into the Earth Splitters, into the Death Wards. They want to be hitting those RPs, and speaking of hitting ultimates, Pasha.
Oh, yeah, blowing the epi there.
It's, again, not a big deal when it goes on cooldown, but it's just feeling like a bit of an off game from both teams in some ways.
I mean, Vega looks to want to try and fight as they are grouped up. But again, the Moonlight Shadow.
No sentry this time to go with that Observer Ward, so won't see Vega see them coming in, but
Nice recovery. Forest strike. Post-star pack, bringing him in. Straight to the dismember recovery. Just get the chance to get the BKB off, and that's going to be, as we mentioned, not the damage to breakthrough. RP onto 2. Pasha a little caught in the midst of it all. Cast coming through. The Death Ward's laid down. They've lost to Sand King. They'll almost certainly lose Lil as well. And this time, VP not able to find anything in return for that trade.
Bad call. They can't get that kill. Even if he doesn't get BKB off, I want to say he lives there. The Dismember alone wasn't going to be enough damage. If you want to go for that kill, you've got to have someone like Mirana. Mirana can follow up the Sand King stun in the, or like a hook Dismember with an arrow. But trying to go for that kill without Mirana was just an unnecessary risk, and it's a risk that really cost VP. Aegis is going to go the way of Vega, and Vega are going to find themselves in a decent position. I say decent. VP is still keeping both top as well as mid pushed out. Mirana is really annoying when it comes to split pushing with the axe. Luna has a Manta, so there's still some lane equilibrium issues to deal with for the side of Vega Squadron.
Dire's top tower is under
Yeah, they've still got to have answers for these two cores indeed. As it stands, obviously with the Aegis, I mean, do you expect Vega to be a little bit more proactive in terms of looking for a fight? Ooh, Pasha. Yeah. Looks like he just didn't have eyes on FNG. Yeah, because FNG in a bit of a sweet spot between the tree line.
Yeah, I think less like the full-on team fight's going to happen. We're just going to see Slack do this. He's going to go around, look for all kinds of solo kills. Every now and then, may see a teammate back him up. The Empower, of course, useful for him. But they want to just play around the strength of this Slack. He's very difficult to deal with.
Has got the BKB complete. I mean, BKB is obviously for the lineup of Vega, very huge against VP's lineup, but kind of the other way around. You know, BKB and Luna, there's a lot of stuff that it's not going to save you against that Vega have. Chronospheres, RPs, Death Wards, and of course the Slark chomping on you. Yep. And Greaves now done as well for the Magnus. So Ramsey still, it certainly feels like he needs more time. He needs another item on the Luna before he's really a huge scare for the lineup of Vega.
Yeah, I'll see a tier 2 tower top go down, denied by the Magnus, but yeah, VP don't really want to fight into the big combo. They also just don't want to fight into the Aegis now. Sand King trying to be annoying, creeps up on waves, and I mean, the catch for these two teams, like for Vega, if they want to catch heroes, it really feels like they're going to have to start blowing some ultimates. Like if Sand King's doing that, the only way you kill him is if someone like Void throws a Chronosphere on him, and if Void wants to get those kills, he almost needs solo kills, which is where he is itemizing to be a right-clicking Void. Has the Diffusal, has another 2.7k gold. Could consider the Manta. But Moonlight Shadow, they want to initiate in here on mid, it looks like.
It's a hard one to go for as well, because FNG immediately back up behind the tier 2. Pasha still kind of eyeing it up.
He pops the smoke.
Again, his presence will just needed. They do know that he's around though, because that smoke's gone. The pings come through. They know he's hiding. And they found him. Pasha could be in trouble. Cast to set it off. Vega looking for the chase down as recovery. Trying to get a touch, but he can't get in range before the blink itself. So Pasha, at the end of the day, it works out for him. Stops the smoke and keeps himself alive.
Again, it's just this. It's weird because I don't feel like Vegas lineup when you see it lacks catch, but it really feels like they're having big issues stopping them around, split pushing, stopping the Luna pushing out these lanes, and then stopping Sanking being a complete pain in the ass as well.
Radiant's middle tower has
A
fallen.
bit perplexed by it, and I think a big issue is just they're not really willing to throw ultimates for these kills. Void also not having a blink dagger as much as he wants to go right click, having a blink for just getting some pickoffs seems to be essential at this point because VP are just playing the map better. They're keeping all 3 lanes pushed out. Look at this Mirana, just pushes out a creep wave by a T2 tower and then instantly TP's home. Mag is there to TP in, but you can't throw a chrono. Mirana's already gone. There's no way to push when VP are playing this kind of cat and mouse game, and the problem for Vega is they've got this lineup that doesn't push lanes well enough. They don't push buildings very well, and they've got to kind of stick together to really be a strong for their lamp to shine, and that's something that VP are just not going to allow them to do.
VP again. I mean, can they group up and try and go for something? They're kind of playing on the defensive now. Slot with a Skadi. Vega starting to tank up more and more.
And the biggest sign of what Vega's, what their game plan is the fact they go for the Greaves plus pipe. The ET just completes a pipe for the team, so they've got both big pushing items, but they're unable to push. When you go for these items, it really is saying you want to push, but right now their problem isn't having like damage block and damage resistance. It really is getting pickoffs. ET would have perhaps benefited more from getting a Eul's Scepter, so we could go like a Eul's into a stomp play. Void would have benefited from a Blink Dagger. I think Magnus would have benefited from a 4-star for extra mobility. They're lacking mobility to get around the map, push out these lanes, and get pickoffs. They've overcommitted on these teamfight items, on these items that are going to help them push when they can't even push out these lanes.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Let's see if
attack.
they have the catch around this time. They're coming through,
Radiant's
leading
middle
away
tower is under
with
attack.
recovery. But immediately again, VP, they know something's up. Coming right
Guaranteed to
out.
see this Mirana.
Cheeky clear, wave clear, and TP out. Rinse to repeat, it works out. You know, they're being pulled across the map and they're not finding anything.
It's just looking like a hard-to-win game for Vega. As much as you take these 5 heroes now, put them in a cage match and just send them 5v5 against each other, Vega win that hands down, but that's not going to happen. That's not something VP are going to give them.
VP being very, very careful about the plays that they go for. Mark is going to jump in. But
Well,
there's-
time for the Aegis to expire. I mean, what did
Yeah.
Vega get done with that Aegis? Absolutely nothing.
Ramses keeping himself ahead of the game. Coming to 17,000 net worth on Luna.
Yep.
And Butterfly.
It is always going to be a tough game for VP. Like, no amount of items necessarily allows them to teamfight all that well because of these ultimates that bypass BKBs. RP Kronos here just going to be king of the late game.
Yep.
So you've still got to play this kind of split push, pick-off style game at any stage of the game when those ultimates are up. And that's why VP perhaps don't want to just throw their ultimates around. They want to make sure they use them for important fights, because that's where VP will try and make moves. If Chrono and RP go on cooldown, you betcha VP is going to try 5-man push.
They've got to be so careful how they blow the ults.
Again, though, it's all 3 VP calls. It's not just the Mirana, it's the Sand King now. He's solo pushing a lane. You see this Sand King bottom, you're like, man, what do we do? Do we go gank him or what? He's got a Eul's Scepter, so he's hard to kill.
And I mean, as you said, go 4 head down towards the neighborhood, but they don't go fully across because they know that they are having trouble getting the catch. They really, really are. And SK with a Veil done, that's only going to add to VP's own team fight potential. So each and every time that Vega look to make a jump, VP, they're going to want to be there to turn it around, get Pasha back in.
Very bizarre game. Like, everyone's itemizing for team fight, but no one's team fighting. Like, Sand King going for a Veil. Are you really team fighting with this? Eventually they will. That's the thing. It's not like it's... And this is going to help try and DPS through items like the pipe just to boost up their magic damage when they are very magic damage heavy. And then you got Vega. They're going for the Greaves plus the pipe I mentioned, and they've also got items like BKB on Void. Like, when's Void actually going to use this BKB? It may not be for like 10-15 minutes like we saw last game.
We got a bit of action. Recovery, looking for the jumping onto Ramses,
Okay.
but Lil's there with a hook. Out he goes, and the action's over.
That's actually a good use for the Pudge now that your VP, you don't want to fight, just have Pudge sit behind cores and save them if they get caught out. And even Solo taking over the split pushing duties at bottom. Yeah, relenting with this split push.
Move this. Oh, they sent down the Magnus. And Spark as well. Yeah, so he's got to be peak. He's got to be careful. And he's not careful enough. No way he gets himself out of this one. They'll pick up the freebie and Solo will be punished.
Again, no big deal. Not a big deal at all.
Yeah, this Luna really getting scary indeed. Ramses. That's going to be hard. I mean, obviously, if they still catch him in the Chronosphere, RP, they've got a chance of bringing him down.
Looking for a kill on Void with an arrow, maybe? There is backup, though, for Void. Gotta be careful.
Not going to try. It's going to Burrow strike out to follow through. No one in with the burst. And don't touch him. Ooh, playing with fire there.
Jeez.
If he had the chance to time walk out, I think that would have been a bit of a tilt moment for VP. They may pay for it, though, as recovery. And the Magnus. Nice
he whiffed it.
Dear old dearie dear.
It's the kind of RPs you got to go for, though. Like you're getting completely torn apart by the split push. You've got to find the pickoffs. It's missed, but it's again. You got to try and find kills at this point if you're Vega.
Actually saving himself there with the infused range up. It's a good job he's holding on to that one. The tower not going to have a similar story to it as it will fall. And on the sidelines, Vega. Maybe seeing if they could get something. Recovery was toying with the idea of going in, but the full lineup of VP there, it's a little risky. And I mean, as you've been saying, as the game goes on, as VP have really found the momentum, and we're yet to see Vega really use their full team fight to its full potential. Yeah. It's looking better and better for VP as this goes on, with Ramses having the lead that he does.
And yeah, if Ramses hits the Satanic, he might actually be able to just group up as 5 and push with Luna, because you've got the backup of the False Promise, and you get a lot of HP out of the Satanic, and they've got to be able to kill you in their ulti combos, like RP, you skew you into the base, and if he survives that, you Satanics and he's suddenly full HP and the fight's won for VP. Alternatively, you False Promise him, you get rid of the stun, and then suddenly he turns and fights, he can also Satanic up and fight's also won. So it's very much a possibility for VP to actually take team fights around that Satanic. Even before it, in theory, with the Oracle, it's very hard for Oracle to position. And he's going to try and make that a bit easier by going for an Aether Lens. But if Oracle ever gets caught out, Luna becomes exposed.
Moonlight time. But again, I believe, that ball...
Should have been spotted.
Yeah, there's some sort of pings coming through. It's going to be a scam from VP. Just in case Vega were wrapping around. But Vega with the smoke. And this is going to be the blink up on Void. So this could be a good opportunity for Vega to try and catch VP off guard with the Chrono.
Yep.
But I mean, I say, look at VP.
No one's showing top, no one's showing mid, bottom. Like, you're a Radiant team here. You know 5v5 is your kind of kryptonite. Just don't 5v5. Even if it means giving them Aegis. We saw what happened last time they got Aegis. They just get split pushed to death, and that's going to likely happen again if VP can continue to execute their draft as well as they have been. I say they're playing well. They're down 5 kills to 13. They're only up by 1,000 net worth, but it's very much just the overall control over the map. The fact that they're the ones pulling Vega apart, forcing them to make moves, and VP are always the ones threatening to kind of take towers, take objectives right now.
That's my time from VP. Eyes towards the Roche pit. They want to try and take a fight, or at least find a pick off, and see if they get it. Ramses at the moment a bit of the bait, pushing down the mid lane, and it's going to attract the attention of Iceberg. Oh, he's going to get himself away from that one. Pasha, seeing if he can catch him out. Arrow, when they come on to recovery. They do have the yours to set this up. The team's moving in, but again, they're so careful about how they commit. VP being very tentative about going fully in on start because they know that it's likely that Vega are in the neighborhood and will look to just simply turn the fight around if they make a jump.
Oh. Good news for Mag was he had the Invis there, because even though Sanking had Gem, he had to blink in and he didn't know where, he was kind of guessing where the Invis hero was. It wasn't until he blinks that he knows where to Burrow Strike, so he has that moment of hesitation where Iceberg gets the blink out. And Vega, don't try and re-engage. They do have the blink on Mag's Void now, so they've got that extra bit of catch there, and the Force Staff on Magnus, so they're starting to get more of these mobility items, which have really been just what they're heavily lacking.
This is nice as well for recovery. MKB done, so now they do have a good chance of chomping through Ramses. If they can get the lock on and if they can find the fight, something that both teams have just been struggling to do so. 35 minutes in, VP versus Vega, only 5 to 13. In a matchup where a lot of people may have expected a little bit more of messy skirmishes, but both teams playing it rather sensibly.
You see a Pudge, you don't expect a low kill game, that's for sure, but that's the way it's played out a bit here.
Vega, again, grouping up, see if they could get a wraparound, but the pings coming through, they hit an arrow onto FNG.
They're going to force them back. I like this play from Ramses. They know where they are.
Straight up to the racks.
Yep, they know where they are. They're going to force them to come back and defend. And this Glyph has to, yeah, let's say, needs to come out soon. Ramses has the backup of the false promise. Great position from Solo in the trees to make sure he doesn't get caught out.
Jump in. Nice Pasha Lil. Remember, Mara as well. Coming in with the Eclipse. The Chronosphere comes through. Mag now pops the BKB. The cast bounces will be there. Oh, there's the ult's going through, but they've lost the slot. The damage from Ramses is just too much at this point. A second and a third down. Ramses gets the double kill. And this Luna's just too big.
The Slark got stunned into arrow. He got chain stunned, didn't get his BKB off. He doesn't have buyback because he fought out on the MKB. Slark went all in and did 0 damage that team fight. He did not do a single point of damage, and that is just Vega probably losing the game right there and then. They're going to lose at least 2 lanes of racks. Slark, 45 seconds, so they could get mega creeps off of this potentially. Mirana's even going to buy back just to guarantee that they take some critical damage to the Vega base.
I mean, this game just felt like, you know, Vega never really able to find the combo or the team fight, the lineup they're looking for. Ramses kept the farm up perfectly, was able to avoid being picked off by Vega's lineup. And now they know that they're at their strength. They know that they're at their peak ability. They've got this timing where Ramses is in an insane position and Vega just seems to be a bit of a shambles. They just can't stop the push, and they're going to get mega creep. 37 minutes in, one fight like that, VP massively ahead.
Yeah. I think they just positioned better, they made better. The shot calling was what really, I say won them this game. It's not over just yet. They've got the power on these melee heroes to keep lanes pushed out, but Vega have not shown any signs of life or any really promise to take a fight, to get much done in quite some time. And taking 6 racks is a huge amount of gold when you take that all at once.
Let's check this out again.
Yeah, this is the Slark getting blown up. Sanking's there with the gem. One stun into the dismember, and the arrow is there. They changed something perfectly.
Because Mag comes in with the chrono onto no one, but they can't quite finish him off straight away. They do get him with the whole RP into Earth Splitter, but the fact that Pasha gets a good FE off, Ramses BKB'd, false promise by Solo. There's no chance of killing that Luna if you don't take it down at the start of the fight, and she's just going to easily clean up and then destroy your base. Within a matter of a minute, every single lane of Roche was down.
Sneak it.
Here comes the Mag. Pasha jumps forward. Vega looking to try and come back into this one, but meanwhile, there's a Luna jumping at your tier 4s, and Ramses is going to do it pretty quickly. And you may win a fight here, but I think you may just lose the game. He's going down. Iceberg gets the RP onto no one and Solo. Meanwhile, back at base, Ramses, he's just A-clicked the base. He's BKB'd. He doesn't give a damn what's going on by the Roche because the game's over. VP have taken it. And Vega, they just never pulled it together as a team, never found that team fight, never got the one combo, and VP just played really, really smart.
Yeah, VP very impressive in this game, and I think that's where you look back at that 2 over Liquid. Some people say Liquid looked a bit off, but I think VP is looking like one of the top